All right, let's see here.
I'm trying to find a better angle for the in the basement. I don't think I'm going to be able to.
Sorry guys, just making sure we're going live here. It's looking like it's almost ready. Okay.
I'm in a little tiny spare room, so it's not any better place. I just have a green screen behind me. It's the place that I retreat to when I have to get out of the traffic downstairs.
I see so many lights.
I think the technology is not going very well today, but let me give one more second and then we can get going. All right, I think we're almost there. So anyone just joining us, we are about to start our conversation. Just want to make sure that we are live on Facebook, and it's taken me a second to get it going, but we'll start in 1 minute. Okay, I think we are live. So again, let me just share my screen here. Let's see here. And we should be back. Apologize for the technology issues today. Okay, so we are back. I'm Katie. I'm with the Downtown Troy Business Improvement District. We are live on Facebook today. So if anybody's watching there, hello, and thank you for joining us. We are here with Curry Ketchum from Mikasa, Nadine Medina from Troy Dance Factory, Toby Solner, I'm going to say that wrong again, from First Playable Productions, and Kate Baker from the Small Business Development Center from Albany. We are here to talk about women in business today. Part of Global Entrepreneurship Week. This is a week-long program. We have every single day a different event that is happening, all virtually. And I want to give a huge thank you to our collaborators for the entire week. We have Ignite U, which is offering some programs as part of this program. Also the Troy Innovation Garage, Tech Valley Center of Gravity, the City of Troy, Hack RPI, which happened last weekend, Agora Media, Russell Sage College, Collective Effort, De Facto Global, the Arts Center of the Capital Region, and the Rensselaer County Regional Chamber of Commerce. So a huge thank you to all of those collaborators for supporting us. And we're excited to get going in our conversation today. Let me just exit out of this share screen so that we can all see each other. You guys are on our panel today. Everybody can see each other today. I would ask that if you are not speaking to go ahead and mute yourself. We wanted to make sure that everybody could see each other because this is a community. We all feel like we need some support right now because everything is a little crazy. So we just wanted to see each other's faces today. Go ahead and mute yourself though if you can. And feel free to say hello to each other in the chat or feel free to talk on there. And then our panelists, if you wouldn't mind just unmuting yourself when you're going ahead and talk. So to get started today, I was wondering if our panelists could give us a little bit of information as to how you got started, right? Everybody on our panel today has been, in a lot of different positions throughout their career, has, taken different roles at different times in their life, and just learning a little bit about kind of how you ended up in this position of owning your own business. So Nadine, would you mind starting us off today?
Yeah, no problem. Can you hear me?
Yep, gotcha.
Yeah, so I own Troy Dance Factory, and I also, through Troy Dance Factory, run a dance company called Synergy, a dance project, kind of a subset of performance dancers in the studio. But I grew up dancing. I started at age 7, and I took dance at my like small town studio. And I was an extremely poor kid. And there were competition studios nearby, and I really wanted to go to them. I was so desperate for that challenge and that experience. But my dance teacher was amazing in letting us be late on payments or get breaks. She let me babysit and work at the studio as a means to pay for my own classes. So I stayed with her throughout my entire middle school and high school career. And then I stepped away from dance for a few years. And then eventually realized it was something I was really missing in my life. I was in Michigan at the time. I ended up taking from a studio there that was pushing me harder than I had been pushed before. So I was doing about 7 hours every Saturday. I don't think I could do that now, but 7 hours every Saturday. And when I moved back to New York, I started working at my hometown studio again. And eventually my kids that I was kind of raising there graduated high school and were moving on to college. And I wanted to bring dance into this area because as I was looking around, there were classes for adults, but a lot of them were recreationally based classes, which is totally fine. It's just that I still felt like I had a lot more to learn and a lot more to teach. And I felt like there were adults in my position who wanted to be challenged and do really hard stuff. So I decided to open a studio to fill that void. I'll tell you that when I first started, when I decided to open it, I was like, I don't know enough. I'm not good enough. I'll never be good enough. I don't know enough. I'm not a good enough dancer. I had all like, I've never been meaner to myself than when I was about to open my business. So if anyone is in that position and is about to open a business and is hearing like the meanest things in their heads, like I did too. And it was my aunt. It's always your aunt. It's never like your parent. It's always like a cool aunt, you know, that says the right thing. And she was like, well, if you wait until you know everything that you want to know, you're probably just never going to do it. And then she also pointed out someone who we knew who opened a studio after only 1 year of dance, and their studio was so successful. And she was like, why do you feel like they deserve this, but you don't? And I was like, ooh, that's really good. So yeah, so I opened a studio.
I think, Nadine, a lot of people go through that same process of thinking, I'm not in a position that I feel like I'm ready for it. So I'm glad that you said that today, because I think, you know, sometimes people need to hear that, you know, you're never quite fully ready for whatever you jump into.
I still struggle with feeling like, am I good? I'm not good enough for this one, you know, every day. So yeah.
Well, thank you for sharing your story. Curry, would you mind letting us know how you started? I'm going to unmute you. I think you just got to unmute yourself.
I got it.
Perfect.
Okay, so my name is Curry. I'm from Dominican Republic. I came to this country 23 years ago, very young, a very young age. I originally was living in New York City. I moved up here. I came to visit up here, and I fell in love with the place. I say, wow, this is going to be great for me. So times pass. I met the father of my kids. He used to work for a huge cleaning company. Used to run Empire State Plaza. And then I used to work with him. I learned a lot. And I told him, you know, why not to start young, you know? So we decided to do that. We take money for my 401k. We start 12 and a half years later. When I have my first boy, so we was working very hard. I'm in my honorary with my honor, and then everything was okay. Everything was good, but I always have inside of me the need for what I do today. So I even when I was a young kid in my country, I used to play, like I used to have this little shop, and I used to cook and sell the food to people and all that. So I always have that. And then I don't know, one thing brought the other. Somebody who know me, like know about my idea, told me, listen, I find a place in Troy and it's like have your name all over. I said, oh, cool, yes. So I came here, I see the little place. I did the whole place inside. I have to technically demolish the place inside and do a lot inside. And then I create mi casa. Mi casa is being so much for me personally. It's been a great experience. It's a lot of work. Like sometimes we want to do things and we like to do, but we never think about it in the long way, how much work we have to put into it. We already have 2 years here at mi casa. The first and a half year, I was working technically day and night. It's been like a roller coaster. I feel like whatever I did, like whatever you can do, you did yesterday, today you can do the same thing and do it better. It's a learning process, learning experience. I'm a people person. I'm super friendly. I like to dealing with people. I don't know. It's something I enjoy. I enjoy what I do, and then I think that's one of my biggest satisfaction. In the way, it's been taking a lot of time away from my boys. I got 2 boys now, Aston and Alex. They hockey players. I'm a hockey mom, so you can imagine if anybody is related with hockey. This is not stop. It's all year round. It's 7 days a week. Running to rings, travel to different places over the weekend for games. And then I'm a struggle with that. I'm a struggle to make it happen. And then I don't know, kind of the pushing myself through. It's sometimes it's a lot of pressure. It's a lot, but by the end of the day, when I look back and I say, wow, I did it. I finished that week. I did it. So it's okay. It's all right. So, but mi casa is being fantastic. And then I'm very grateful to be here in Troy where I am, because the people, I have so much variety of people coming in and out. You know, eh, it's all tied to people, who kind of made my business be successful and be going. And during this pandemic and over all this protesting, it's been hard times. It's been hard. It's been hard. Like sometimes, and I know we will get to that point where we are going to talking about like what do we do when we need information, when we don't know what to do. Like I would love to know what another colleague would do that in this kind of situation. I think um all that is important. We can talk about it and we can help each other. But mi casa is being great. It's a dream come true for me. And then I'm very happy. I will not change what I do for nothing, even with all the work we have to do.
Well, thank you for sharing that story. I have heard you say multiple times that your restaurant is more than just a restaurant, that it's a space for your community and it's a space to, connect with people. So I think that really shows itself in what you told us today. So thank you for that.
Yeah. Thank you.
Toby, if you wouldn't let us know what you're up to.
All right. Yeah, so it's interesting to hear everybody's path. I was actually a student at RPI when I first came to Troy, and I continued on as a student at RPI and ended up with a job at GE Research, sort of accidentally or serendipitously, which inspired me to keep going to school. So, so I had a long 10-year process of getting my PhD because my daughter was born halfway through that, and I was at GE Research, that full-time employee. And when I was there, I was really excited about business and marketing. I was doing research in computer networks, but it was an environment where you got to learn about everything you wanted to. And I asked lots and lots of questions. That ended up benefiting me because I learned a lot of things that come in useful once you have to run your own company. But I learned like the big complicated GE versions of it. So like finance at GE versus finance that you need for running your business, very different scale of things. My next experience with small business was with the Woodland Hill Montessori School. And I was on the board and became chair of that organization. It was just like as a community service, but it was basically a second full-time job because it was a very small business at that time trying to make its way, figure out its path in the face of many obstacles. And during my time there, we were able to get financially solid, get accredited, and get to build our own school building. So that was very exciting to me because that was my first experience with a small business and learning how big an impact a small business can have on a community. So based on that experience, I actually had, while I was president at Woodland Hill Montessori, I accepted a job at Vicarious Visions, which was a small game company in the area. I didn't know much about video games, so for the first year, I had to spend a lot of my spare time learning about video games, playing video games, studying arcade games. I was VP of product development, so I better know how to play a video game if I'm supposed to be in charge of product development. So that was a fascinating window into the world of video games, and has all the technology and technical challenges that I loved in my research job. And then it added art and design, areas I really had no opportunity previously to learn about. So when Activision bought Vicarious Visions, I had an opportunity to start First Playable. So this is not something I had been planning to do or dreaming of doing. I came from GE, where I felt that one of the things I saw happen to small acquisitions is that you hired a bunch of people and then you had layoffs. And I'm a little over concerned about my staff. And I was worried, it's like, if Activision has layoffs in Troy, there's literally no other company for people to go work at. So somebody has to go make another company. So that really drove my reticence. And also there were people at Nintendo, other people who really encouraged me and really gave me a kick to try and do something that otherwise I thought was really pretty much beyond anything I thought I would be trying to do. So that's been just about 15 years now. Very successful with respect to our original intent, in that we were able to get Agora Games into games, and then we really have advocated for businesses to move to downtown Troy. When we came downtown Troy, there was one or two other small businesses down there. And I took upon myself at that point, just as a mission, to be an evangelist for companies, tech companies locating in downtown Troy, because then all that revenue that's flowing through your employees can flow to the local community. And you can have the cool restaurants, you can have the cool cultural opportunities if you have a way to channel your company's revenue into downtown area. So I felt like I had training wheels with the Montessori school. I felt GE. I went to school to run a business, and then First Playable, I was just thrown into it like everybody else, where you're like, well, I guess I have to do it. It's like I no longer have anybody to blame but myself.
That's great. I think it's so interesting to hear the different stories as to how people got in business, because like I said, everybody comes from a different path. And, this wasn't necessarily a passion of yours, but you saw a need in your community and wanted to fill that. So thank you for sharing that. Kate, if you wouldn't let us know a little bit about the Small Business Development Center and what kind of services and you offer, would love to also let Kate have a moment later on to share with us how the MWBE programs work through them as well.
Sure. My name is Kate Baker. I am the interim director of the Small Business Development Center, where we provide no-cost business consulting services to small businesses. So that's a very wide range of services. I see some familiar faces, so hopefully I'm not talking completely blind to some people. But we do everything from business planning, financial projections, market research, procurement assistance, certification assistance, which we'll talk about in a little bit in more detail. But we also have transitioned this March. We became the primary technical assistance agency for the Small Business Administration and for New York State. So when it comes to all of the stimulus programs, we have a series of experts on staff that can help you with that type of stuff, which we understand right now is, just as critical as anything else moving forward. So that's kind of what we do. I've been with the organization for about 15 years as a business advisor. Our director retired in January. I cannot say I've ever seen somebody with better timing. But so we've got a really great team and a lot of people that are here to help. And that's, I hope, is my greatest takeaway. We work with about 1,000 businesses locally every year on a wide variety of projects, startups, expansions, international trade, you name it. And if we don't know it, we can usually find somebody that can.
Thank you, Kate.
You're welcome.
any questions for Kate as well, feel free to put those in the chat, and I'm sure you can keep an eye on that today to see if there's any questions that pop up. So as everybody has talked about, and Nadine kind of played into this as well, you know, it's sometimes you're not confident in yourself. I think as women, sometimes we downplay our successes. And so I want to understand, you know, how do you find confidence, and also celebrate your wins when you have them, because we all have wins, probably more often than we recognize. So I guess anybody can hop in, and if you don't, I'll let you know that you're up.
I'll just jump in first. Yeah, it's like every day is a little bit like this. I'll wake up some days and be like, I got this today. I have a cool idea that I want to try out with a dancer or whatever, and I feel so good. It's something new. And then other days I'm like, all right, I need to watch, you know, 20, 30 videos just to get inspiration to move my butt and figure out what I can deliver to my students. And that's just part of a business. Like everyone who's talked today knows that there's the stuff people see, and then there's a million things people don't see that just can drain you or excite you depending on how you what you're doing that day. But so actually I'm laughing because I have a bunch of new videos I'm putting out, which I'm really excited about. I'm really happy with the quality of them, and I'm looking at them going, yeah, like we've groomed dancers. We've gotten to a place where I have the canvas for like the visions that I have, which is really an important thing for an artist, to have the right canvas, you know, to put your work on so that it shows the way that you see it. And I went back and I looked at some of the videos that I did. I've been open for actually 9 years this month. I went back and looked at some of the videos I did, and I just started laughing. And it was hilarious to me, like some of the videos I did of myself, videos that I was like, I need to archive this off of Instagram immediately because I did not remember this was on here. And it's just so laughable. And the great thing is that I'm so far removed from it now, and I actually could laugh at it. And the only reason in my head that I could laugh at that today was because I feel really good about where I'm at now. So I took that as a sign. If I were waking up today feeling like just dog crap about what I do, and I saw those videos, I'd be like, oh, Nadine, you know, you suck. But I was like, oh, that's hilarious. So I kind of passively took that as a sign that like I must be doing something to where I feel like I've made progress. So for me, looking back at my old work has been really helpful in that process. As far as celebrating wins go, I think with the dance company that I have under Troy Dance Factory, we had our opening season last year, and we were very fortunate to perform at Proctor's. They actually bought our show, which was like not something that I was expecting to have happen my first season of a dance company. They bought it sight unseen, actually, not really knowing anything about me, and then went back to the office and said, oh my gosh, what did we just do? Fortunately, people at their office knew me and said, don't worry, you made the right choice, and it worked out fine. But I don't know, it was really seeing people in the audience there, seeing the reviews come out, and even just seeing the beautiful photos that came out and how great everyone felt after the shows. It was like, to me, that was a win. And also, Mikasa, I'm sure you can like attest to this, repeat business. You have to take that as a win, because if someone's choosing to spend their time and money with you more than once, then maybe they're not telling you how amazing you are, but that's how you know that like you're doing something right. And you can't sit around and wait for people to tell you how amazing you are. You have to take these social cues from people, and not let your ego be so high that you need to hear, you know, from people that you're amazing. You got to kind of find it. So for me, it was laughing at myself a lot last week.
Curry, what do you feel about that?
Thank you for saying that, because that's totally true in there. I laughing a lot about myself sometimes, because I say, oh my God, by the end of the day, wow, you know, I got it done. It's been days when, especially with this pandemic, you know, the people I have here from the beginning, they are still here with me for 2 years and for many more years to come. That's how I vision everything. This is like a family-owned business. You know, I got my brother, he's my right hand, my mom, I got the other lady, I adore her. She's like a mother to me. I cannot come here and not open the door and not screaming, hey, good morning, because if I don't do that, something is wrong with me, because that's how much they know me, it's being hard, because I'm worrying about my people. I'm worrying about to be able to provide to them, even the youngers I have here, they come and they have a part-time with me. I don't want to lose them. I want them to have a secure job. I know how important it is. As of right now, I'm a provider, on my own. And then I'm very proud of myself. Every month I go through and then I pay my bills and I'm getting better. And then, yes, as she says, it's going like this. It's like you see days out of the 6 days a week we open, sometimes Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, oh my God, how I'm going to be able to make it. But again, I got people who come not once, not twice. They come almost every day. And then it's just one word, That's how important you have a good attitude. And you, even the people, sometimes you don't know the name, but they customers, they come all the time. You say, hey, have a blessing day. Whatever it is, don't let it get to you, And then when I say that kind of things to people, it's like go toward me, like, yeah, that's the right attitude, And then how I celebrate to let my people know how good we are doing. Like we hear every day, like it's going to be okay. It's like tomorrow it will come no matter what, and it's already it's so. It is so, we like it or not. We don't know that, but it's already planned, it's already so. So nothing when I go home some Saturdays I'm out of here, and then I wish I'm be here. And I'm not, I have a camera in my phone. I don't even look at the camera. I call, how's everything? How you guys doing? Everything's okay. It's not how good is the day, like money wise. It's like, we got people coming. I don't know. It's my worry about that, my business, people coming, if everybody's okay. Anytime I'm not checking my email so much as I should, but anytime I go back and I have these reviews, these comments, and I take the time to open and go, and I go and kind of respond one, and I keep going and I keep going, and I say, wow, this is amazing. This is amazing. And I have so many amazing experience with people, like even to have a short conversation, even to give you a little attention to the customer is it's good. It's been good for me. But yeah, it's been times when the confident, you have to kind of keep it there next to you, and then okay, hold and tie, and then no, because sometimes you don't know how you do it, But no, but thank you for saying that. That's a true there, and that's for all of us. We all in the same boat. We all trying to do in different ways. We are doing the same thing, But yeah, that was great. Yeah.
Toby, what do you think about ways that you can keep yourself confident and excited about what you're doing, celebrating those successes?
I think one thing I learned is that there's a difference between how you feel, whether you feel confident, whether you act confident. So that is an important distinction, to not wait for a feeling before you act like you need to. So when I was president at the Montessori school, I was like, oh, I'm supposed to stand up and act like I know what's going on and preside over the meeting. And I'm the sort of person who just soon not preside over a meeting. And I just realized, well, that's the role I'm playing. So I think that has helped differentiate the two. When I started my company, I had no idea if it would be successful, but I had an 8-year-old son at the time. So he was still that age that's constantly with mom. And so one thing that sort of forced me to stand up to this is every time we met anyone, he was like, my mom is starting a game company. We're gonna have 12 people by June. And he would like rattle off my set of future accomplishments to people who I'd never bring it up to, right? I certainly would not go and tell people all these things, but he would just like rattle all these things off, and I'd be like, I guess I have to do it now because this kid is so sure that this is going to happen. And so it became less about what my confidence was and just like, all right, I've got to do it now. So, I don't always feel like I know the right answer, but I do know that as a leader, you are playing a role, and that doesn't necessarily have a lot to do with what you feel internally. COVID is certainly a great example of trying to have a buffer between how you're feeling internally and what you're doing to lead. And as far as celebrating, I don't know, I get excited about everything. Very easy for me to get excited and have a little happy dance about something and then move on to the next thing.
That's great. It's always nice to feel it in the moment and really capture those moments when you can. I know Curry had mentioned earlier, there's this need for support, right? Especially during COVID. And that comes in many different forms. Are there, any, maybe it's individuals, mentors, groups of individuals, or anybody that you have been able to call on as a community or whatever it might be, whether that's during COVID or prior to now as you were starting your business, that was helpful to you? I know, we've had this conversation of do we build mentorship programs and other things? Have you found anyone that worked with, or that you would be interested in kind of that support? Maybe you have been a mentor yourself, or something else.
Well, for me, it's like, when I have other business owners, they come here, and then we are so close here in this area, and then we exchange ideas like, oh, I've been doing this, or we talking about COVID and how they feel, and then or helping each other. Like I find this kind of easy use so dispenser bottle. I can be so grateful. Here, grab here, keep that one, and then don't worry about it. I mean, we're talking about so many different things, but everybody ended up in the same thing. Everybody is afraid. We afraid. We keep going, but it's like we don't know how far we can go. Even as an essential business, even me, I don't have to close at 10 o'clock at night. I close now since COVID started. Instead the 8, I close at 7. And thank God, everybody adjusts to that. We keep providing the same service, everything. Everybody's being so good and adjust to that. But again, it's like even when my own employees, I think I try to kind of, I don't know, my group support is the people who I'm work with. When they start talking to me, but what are we going to do? I need to take the bus. I said, well, but we can take turns. Maybe I can go and pick you up. Maybe, you can come with my mom. And then, to try to create plans, to create like a way, because we need to help each other. But I don't was able to kind of reach out any organization or anything. You guys are phenomenal. You guys, when I go in the website, you guys so many different things, and I always, when I call, I always able to get a hold of you guys, for any question or anything. I bet if I have any questions about that, you guys will be more than happy to answer that. But I think that'd be great if we can, I don't know, to have some sort kind of group where either help to meet each other with everybody, have access to everybody, to help the other people who come and they try and they have an idea, they want to start their own business, but they don't know, because this is a kind of hard times we're going through, and keep a positive attitude. I'm very grateful, even if you things have to shut down tomorrow, because that's the way for us to get better. I'm willing to do it. you know, with the best attitude, because I want everybody to be good. I want everybody around me, my kids, everybody, you know, so that's the way we can come back again and do it even better, you know.
Yeah, I think that's great. Understanding that you have a community around you that is all going through the same thing, and calling on them to support one another, and you being a support to them as well. I think that's great. Thank you. Toby or Nadine, anything? Oh, Toby, go for it.
So there's a few different groups that I've relied on. When I started the company, it was other game developer owners. So there's a lot of strong industry support. And so that was great in terms of getting suggestions, feedback, contracts, equipment, all the things that I try to pay it forward and give to other startups in the industry. Then I started to join peer mentoring groups for CEOs, and that's been incredibly valuable. So there's Women's Presidents Organization that I was in for a number of years. Great opportunity just to express what your current challenges are, hear everybody else's challenges, and if nothing else, you feel like your problem is not just your own problem. You begin to understand people have similar problems. I'm currently in the Entrepreneurs Organization, which is very similar organization, just smaller sharing groups. There's 6 people in your forum, 6 to 8 people in your forum that you share with. So once a month we get together for a half a day and go through and present on topics and go through feedback sessions. I was also in another one that wasn't part of a national organization, because I always join multiple things just because why not get some data? I am a researcher at heart. So there was another local organization, local group that was more focused on finances and structure. So I was also going to that. I dropped that a couple years ago because I had a car accident and I had to sleep 12 hours a night. So I couldn't be doing everything anymore. But that was great because that was a group that I felt like I had to get my numbers together for. And that was a quarterly meeting. It's like, oh, I better get all my numbers together because I have nobody else to present it to. I don't have a board. I don't have that type of thing. So, but there are then just the informal people that you begin to rely on or you reach out to, or sometimes if I've had a difficult time in the game industry, I have friends or contacts I can reach out to and at least get a shoulder to cry on, if not any good advice, which can be very helpful because it's hard to explain to other people. And I think it's really important for company leaders to have this type of peer group, because there's so many things you can't really talk about to your staff without scaring the heck out of them. And you really just need an opportunity to broach those topics, get best practices when you need it, just have people listen to you think through problems without them, getting overly anxious because suddenly, you're supposed to know what you're doing. So that's been really important to me. And I'm really glad for all of those groups. They've all been immeasurably helpful.
That's nice.
Thank you. I want to talk a little bit about, live-work balance. I feel like this has been, it's an ongoing conversation, but especially during COVID when things are so crazy that, sometimes you're very overwhelmed. Is there any strategies or anything that any of you guys use to try to separate work from life, especially when you're running a small business? Some of you have children. Any suggestions on what you guys are doing to kind of create this difference, if you can?
One thing I do is that I have a homestead with farm animals that forces me to not work because I have to go do morning chores, evening chores, take care of the chickens, the goats, all the animal hijinks. So that's, I think, been a counterpoint since I work on the computer all day. And because I'm going to be more upset about a sick animal than I will about anything happening in my business. So my empathy with animals and nature is really strong, an important component. I am very obsessed with everything I do. So I do spend a lot of hours working, but thanks to those critters, I have to go out in the rain, snow, sleet, or whatever weather that is, and get a little bit of an antidote to the computer and virtual world that I work in.
It's great to have a passion that is different from your work to really pull you out of that whenever you need it. Nadine, any thoughts?
Yeah, I definitely am a huge advocate of having separate spaces in my home. And I say home, I actually live with a few other people. So my home is a very small section of the home, but I've created like what I'm sitting in right now, which is this sort of alcove that I have with my work desk. I don't eat here. I never eat here. I'll bring a coffee here, but I will not bring a meal here. And this is where I work. And I have a desk over here I have a jewelry business as well. That's a jewelry desk. And it's a little cramped in here, but it works for me. And then right over there, which I'm not going to turn the camera, but is a coffee table. That's where I eat. I never work there, so that table, even though it's just 4 feet away, is a sacred space for me. I sit there, and for me, what I like to do is I'll make my morning meal. I sit at that table because, as we know, I don't eat here. And I watch like Mary Tyler Moore or Craig of the Creek or something that is just like, it just doesn't make me feel like I have to think hard. I can just relax. I can enjoy. It's innocent. It's fun. And I eat my meal. And then I make my to-do list. And I actually have them here. I'll do like a weekly to-do list, and I'll leave spaces. And they're broken down by things. So I'm an engineer. This is my engineer to-do list. This is my jewelry to-do list. This is a dance to-do list, and you'll see it's the biggest business I have with the smallest number of to-dos because I'm trying not to stress out about it. I could write every task down, but if I write every task down, then I'm going to spend 5 hours making a to-do list when I need to just be to doing, And then I have my special projects section over here. So it's my list for the week. During a day, I'll wake up and put little dots next to the things I want to accomplish. I kind of do a quick mental check. That's going to take me 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 40 minutes, whatever. Add it up. Does that make sense? And give me time to eat and walk my dog? It does. Great. Then that's what I do. And I also have this list here. I'm going to fold it a little bit because the top is a timesheet. So I made this little list. I don't know if you can see it, but it's literally boxes. I just drew little boxes, and every box has in it something that's important to me in my life. So TDF, my dance studio, and in that is Synergy, a dance project. Nadine Medina Designs, my jewelry business. B&L, my engineering. Projects, special projects, my partner, my boyfriend, my dog, myself is a box, my family and friends. And there's a box called adulting, which is stuff like grocery shopping. And then there's a box called training. So I have a training box, and that training box is for me. We talked about confidence earlier, and one of the things that I found that has lifted my confidence is training in my genre, like that, So I made all these boxes, and I said, how many hours of my waking hours do I think I spend on all these things in a day? Multiply that times whatever. And then I it sounds mathematical, but again, as you saw, I'm an engineer too. And then I said, well, what percent of my time is that in a week? What percent of my waking time is that? One thing had like 20%, and I was like, that's 20% of my time, but I probably get in return about 8% of that, 5% of that. I get way less. So I need to bump that down. So it helps me just to have that sitting on my desk every day, looking at my priority list and being able to reevaluate next to my to-do list and have my separate spaces. And it just keeps me focused. And it's literally sitting on my desk. That helps me tremendously. And in my daily to-do list is at least an hour of me just doing whatever the heck I want. Walking my dog has to be one of them. Watching a show while I eat has to be one of them. And when I get home from the studio, I used to sit down and do work. I don't do that anymore. I get home from the studio, and it's time for me to just sit on the couch, take an Epsom salt bath, do whatever I want. So that, coupled with routine, has been incredibly helpful. So I know every Tuesday is my training day. And I'm stressed because I have 13 other things to do, but I know that I'm going to actually feel worse about myself if I don't commit to the training. So, right? So even though I'm stressed, I'm like, this is going to be a worse day if I don't commit to that thing. And then I get done and I'm like, oh, I did this for myself, and now I can go do for others. So that's working for me. It's a lot of lists, but it works.
It never works for your own brain. That's great.
Yeah.
Curry,
Yeah.
any thoughts on that, especially with young children? And then I would love to have Kate explain a little bit about NWBE for us.
No, my God. Let me see. My kids are my life. Ace, Alex, Chloe, my older one. For the past, I think 2 months, I'm being changed I've been working on it, on changing. That's exactly what you say. Like to create this more for me, besides, because this changed everybody's life. But I don't want to live in that stress no more. I think I did have before a lot of stress. So now on top of that is even more. And I went to the point I was able to handle that very well. So now I have, I write down everything I have to do, like the night before. I'm reading more. I love to read. I don't know how I'm taking the time, but I do. Well, now hockey practice, you're not allowed to go inside the ring to watch your kid practice. That was a big break for me. So now what I do, maybe out of the 5 nights where I have to be in practice, maybe one I take it. I need to do my groceries? Let me go and use that time and do it. Boom, it's done. Most of the time, I even take a nap in the car. I continue reading my book. I'm trying to send a message to my friends. Hey, how you doing? You know, I'm working out now twice a week. It's being a very challenge for me, because it's like I feel I take care of everybody and do everything, but not me, you know? And then I want to feel confident about that aspect in my life. Like I made the time for myself, and sometimes I'm stressed and sometimes I don't want to go, but you know what, if I not go, I'm going to feel bad with myself, because it's like I'm denying me, I'm trying to forget about me, and I don't want to be like that no more. And then other things, if you see me like that, I suffer for the pressure for many years, you know. And then I'm very aware what my problems are, and I fighting. That's my medicine. You know, me to try to every day to do better and try to have a better attitude and be positive. Eh, eh, 2 weeks ago, for my birthday, I went away with my kids. I went and drive for 2 hours to Lake Placid and stay overnight. The best thing ever I did, you know. And I realized things like that, if I planned them well, and I prepare myself, maybe I can do that one time a month. Maybe every 2 months I can do that with my kids, you know. And spend time with them, and then enjoy. Not be so worried about the business. And now when I go home, I'm done for the day. I go, I get Ace at school, I go and get Alex, I bring this one to practice, bring the other one home, I pick up the other one, go, you know. It's just like I'm trying to enjoy a little more. And then it's been working for me. And then I go to keep it away, you know, even with everything is happening right now. But as she says, you know, I mean, she got her space where she respects and she don't eat there. She got her desk for her jewelry. She have her table when she, you know. I'm trying to do the same thing too, in a different way, but I'm trying to do the same thing. And it has been working. And I hope this is, if anybody who's hearing that can help them to say, wait a minute, you know what I mean? Maybe I can do this, or maybe I can change this. Because it's not easy. It's not easy, you know, it's not easy, you know. But you need to make it work. You need to make it work. But it's not easy to combine everything, you know.
There's always more work to do, right? So
Yeah.
at some point you have to figure out, you know, how can I separate my time and make sure that I'm taken care of, so that other people feel like, you know, you can't do well for others if you don't.
Of course.
Thank you for sharing that. Kate, would you mind letting us know? So would you mind explaining MWBE to us? And then just letting us know kind of what SBDC does to support businesses in that.
Okay. So MWBE is a state acronym for Minority and Women Business Enterprises that are certified through Empire State Development. It is a program that enables women and minority-owned businesses to have an advantage in state contracting, as well as any indirect spending that the state does. So if you sell only directly to consumers, it's probably not a good idea for you. But if you do engage with New York State or organizations that receive New York State funding. And that can include other corporations and companies, as well as nonprofit organizations. The 30% spending goal for every discretionary contract issued by New York State has that attached to it. So whether it's economic development money or money that's going to community nonprofits, they will also find themselves with that same stipulation. Not to confuse things more, but there's no other way to do it. In addition to the state certification, there are two federal certifications for women-owned businesses, as well as a private organization certification as well. None of them are the same. None of them are linked. You have to do them all separately. The processes for WBE can be complicated. So we do recommend that you contact us to schedule an appointment. I did put our website address into the chat so that if you need to make an appointment with one of our advisors, but we have experts in all of these certifications and can kind of help you figure out which one is best for you moving forward. And I know I've worked with a couple of people on the call already on at least one certification.
Yes, and we also have a business owner, Pisha King from Flowers by Pisha, who's going to join us next on Wednesday at 6 p.m. to talk about her process because she has been awarded that. And I know it was quite a process. So if anybody's looking to start that, definitely reach out to the SBDA or SBDC, sorry, I'm thinking SBA, to get some more information and help in that.
Perfect.
And I would also like to note, I mean, if you have any questions or are thinking about going through that process, definitely reach out to them before you start to understand what that process looks like. Thank you, Kate, for that information.
You're welcome.
We are at 2 o'clock. If you guys are up for it, I would love to keep going and talking for another 15 or so minutes. And if you have any other questions, feel free to put those in the chat and I'll try to throw some of those in. Are you guys up for that?
Yeah, sure.
Awesome. So I would love to know, you know, we talk about balance and finding moments to kind of, you know, treat yourself in a way or understand how you can separate your time so that you're taken care of as well. Are there, you know, I think in business sometimes, as Toby said, you're putting on a role. And as we look through COVID and look into the holiday season, you know, we're all talking about how you can be authentic, right? Because sometimes you put yourself in this role of, you know, I'm the boss, you know, everybody has to answer to me and maybe I'm not confident in that, but how do you stay authentic to yourself in your own business?
For me, it's like what I say from the beginning. I know I have it's a big responsibility for me, you know, here. And everybody will say, well, you have the last word in anything we do. But for me, I say from the beginning, it's a family business. I don't consider nobody my employees. I would not tell anybody to do anything. Like they will see me do it. And I have a lot of consideration for my people. I got my mom in there. I got the other lady. I say she's like my mother. I don't say I have a headache or I have a cut. It's just like a mother to me. You know, I got two mothers in there. My brother is such a good guy, so honest. I mean, the girls who working with me, I appreciate them. I think I think they can see that, they can feel that, you know. And it's like I'm very, I don't know, I'm very considerate and I understand, you know, like I'm running late. And can I take the day, the morning off tomorrow? You know, this is come up. You know, it's not like that. Like I made them feel like I'm the boss and they need to be. No. I think if you treat the other people the way you want them to treat you, most of the time you get the same thing. you know. And when you don't get it, so you need to put a stop and do something different. But we here in this together. And then you know, when I made my decision, well, for Thanksgiving week, you know, I go and check how we did that week last year. And then, well, what do you guys think? Do you guys want to take a chance? Do you guys want to take a day off? And I try to do the best I can. And it's always for some reason, somehow, so somewhere, the help come, we made it out, and then everybody's happy. So I don't know, it's you try to keep a balance, you know. But I'm a very easy, you know, like, I don't know, I appreciate everybody there, you know.
So you're making it more about your staff and your family and the people
Yeah.
part of your business. So
Yeah.
your business is authentic because those are the individuals that are part of it.
Yeah, you know, I mean, what we do in that kitchen, and my grandmother used to tell me, you know, when you are in the kitchen, when you cook, you need to be happy. That's why you give it to other. You give something from you. It's something in your soul. It's like when something is not right, it's because either you didn't pay attention or you didn't do it with love. I mean, she used to be a little, you know, I thought before it was a little too much for her, but now I know what she meant. You know, I know what she meant. You know, when I have to be here, I'm here at 4:30 in the morning because I want to make sure everything is the same way. Everything is good. You know what I mean? I don't want to let down. We call it Tatica. We don't want to let down her, my mom. You know, I mean, because we all have a role in there in the kitchen. We all made this together, you know, and we had the same technique, you know. Just when I started, you know, I say to them, you know, this is going to be new for me. I don't know what I'm doing, but I know we can do it, you know. And then the only thing I want, authentic. I want like this food coming out of like when you cook for 5 people in your house. And basically that's the way we cook in the back. That's you know, that tons of food. And it's nothing like it's wrong, you know, but I mean, but that's my style, you know. Everybody have their own style and their whole way how they do things. And then that's what we keep here. That's what we do. And then it's important for me, you know, they come here happy and they are okay. And that's what matters to me, you know. That's what give me peace. And when I'm not here, I'm okay. I know everything is okay, you know.
And I think people keep coming back because they feel that authenticity from you. That's great.
Yeah.
Toby, any thoughts on that?
I think one of the things that I try to do is be as transparent as possible, whether with clients or with staff. There's always a trade-off because when it's bad news, you have to weigh, like, do I just want to tell somebody that's why I want to share this on a Friday afternoon, or should I just wait and tell somebody something at a better time because I don't want to just share and burden people. But I think that's an aspect of it. You know, I think it's a difficult job for me because I'm a perfectionist, and I think the role of CEO is doing a whole bunch of jobs halfway, and so you're just constantly feeling like you're falling short of what your perfectionist self would be. But I find just listening and talking to people in the organization help because their perspective, they're usually not such a hard grader as I am with respect to, you know, what's working for them, what's not working for them. So yeah, that's about all I have.
Good. I appreciate that. Nadine, any thoughts on that? And then I have one last question for you guys.
Yeah, I think it's probably almost a little bit easier, I think, for me, maybe in a sense, to be authentic, at least pre-COVID, because I'm working with people for 1 to 2, sometimes 3 hours at a time in a group setting where we're all needing to be a bit vulnerable because we're learning together. So if I come off fake, then people pick up on that so quickly. And even just my language right here, that I'm like, this is just me. This is my desk. This is my to-do list. This is what I like. Like I try to hold it back a little bit in the studio because people come there to dance, not to hear about my life, but we do become friends because I do cater to a lot of adults. So my dance studio, just to clarify, my dance studio is about 80%, 70, 80% adults. So like, it's very difficult to not become friendly
Yeah,
with other adults when you're with them that long.
I
So
agree.
yeah, so I've never tried not to be authentic. I think there are times in creating dances, like in a very specific way, where I've been inauthentic because I'm trying to do what I'm seeing. You know, I'm trying to do what's so popular, what I think is going to work well for the class. And then I got really burnt out. Because I was putting so much external pressure on what I was creating in specific ways. So that would be like if you're creating dishes that you don't feel from
Yeah.
the inside out, but you're watching an Instagram channel and that's what
Yeah.
they're doing. And you're like, well, I have to do that because that's what people want. And you get burnt out. And that was a couple of years ago. I hit that point and I was like, nope, nope, not doing it. So I just recalibrated, started doing my own training, like I said, to continue to hone my voice, find more stuff that I like about what I do. Went to a couple trainings where I got feedback on what it is that I do that's different from what other people do and where that's good and where I could use some work. And it just really helped. So yeah, so now I'm just, I do the music I like. I do the moves that feel right. I don't worry about if they're the most spectacular. Sometimes they are, sometimes, most of the time they're not. As long as I'm telling a story from my own feelings, then I actually feel like it strikes a better note for me. I'm less burnt out and people around me are really relating to it. And because I work mostly with adults, they feel that. You know, if I were working with kids in this way, sometimes it's hard for them to feel those stories and those experiences, but it really resonates with adults just when I am myself. So kind of it's a self-perpetuating process and it kind of positively reinforces itself. So yeah.
Great. I mean, you're almost forced to be authentic in ways, which is so perfect. That's great. So my last question for you guys is, you know, as a business owner, you often start thinking you're going to be doing one thing and then all the other stuff comes into play. And, you know, there's a lot that comes with running a business and sometimes you don't think about all those things ahead of time. How have you as a business owner been able to kind of look at what am I passionate about in my business and how do I balance that with all the other things? And sometimes that might be hiring other people to do those things. And maybe it's that, you know, you just like Nadine, you know, balance out everything very well in your mind, really. So can you just let me know a little bit about that process for you of things that you love doing versus maybe have to do because of your business?
Well, for me, again, I didn't know the amount of work it was involved in this. For me, was like, I'm going to be in the kitchen, I'm going to be cooking, I'm going to be doing what I like, you know, and yes, I do it that, but I have to share that time with manager the business as well, to do inventory, to keep is so much detailings and things like even if you have good people around you, you know, it's just like they miss things, you don't, you know, for some reason. And then eh, just doing technically everything. You ended kind of be involved. You have to be involved in everything. You have to be on top. And then for some reasons, as tired I can say I can be, and then, oh my God, how much work. The good thing about all this, I enjoy what I do. I cannot be still. I have to be thinking. I have to be doing things, you know. Sometimes I have, if I show you my November calendar, the practice, everything, I say, oh my gosh, how I'm doing all this, but I'm doing it and I enjoy it, and I made the time, and it's like I have a little time for everything, like today, on Monday, I'm here all day. I just came here before I brought my kids to school. You know, I went back home. I did a little meditation before I get out of the house. I went back. I got the kids to school. I came back to the restaurant. I went to my workout. I didn't want to do any shopping, but tomorrow, now is the time for that. So it's like you learn how to manage your time, because you know you have to do it. You have to do it. I don't know. Again, and I go back what I say early. Whatever you did last week, today's Monday, you do the same thing and you do it better, and you figure it out a way, and this is work much better. So if I go twice a week and do my shopping, this specific shopping, or if I go and do all my paper and plates and containers one time a month, and I do it with quantity, that will save me time. That will save me even money. It's like you find these strategies. It's like you learn how to do that. But I like to work. I cannot stay still. If I'm home and then I don't have to go for practice, if I don't have to do this, literally I enjoy to be home, but it's just like, I feel like, oh my God, I'm wasting my time. I mean, you know what? I don't know what to do with myself. I don't know if that's good or it's bad, but what I can tell you is I really, really enjoy what I do. I really do.
I'm so glad to hear that.
Thank you.
I think there's always so many things that are going on in everyone's lives that it's always good to understand what's going to work for you. So I'm glad to hear that. Toby, any thoughts on that?
I'm trying to remember the question, but I think my answer was that there's not much that I get to do that I would describe as like the thing I love to do in my job, but I am an engineer and I like to solve problems. So that's probably what still keeps me engaged, whether I'm solving problems for the client or just solving my own problems with the business. So I think there's that aspect, because a lot of what I'm doing is just filling in the gaps between what other people have been able to do, and just like backfill all the different spots, especially with us all being remote. So I guess it's my engineer nature that lets me put up with that.
I guess that also plays into the fact that, like, you didn't get into this because it was a passion for you. You saw it as a need. So there is a difference in that, for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Nadine, any last thoughts on this?
Yeah, I have accountants who do accounting for me, because I tried for the first few years and I was like, I think I'm gonna get in trouble. Because I don't know what I'm doing. So I got people on board for that. And things like, I mean, most of my job honestly is doing like the dancing part. But I always say like having the studio is actually a means to an end for me, because what I love is dancing and teaching. There are a lot of parts about it though that I don't love, but I do so that I can do those other parts. So like, I don't love that I have to just do all this other stuff, but some of it's very easy. I have my systems, I have my spreadsheets, which you probably didn't second guess for a minute. And so I do those. I've got them down like a science. So every new session, it's like, oh, got that spreadsheet, just put these things in there and then rearrange, sort, delete, and I'm done, and copy and whatever. So I found some ways to be very efficient, but then there are things at the studio that I don't love to do. Like I'm very organized now, but I was the messiest person, I think, on this earth for years, most of the years of my life. And the studio does show that in some rooms where the doors are shut. But I have dancers who are like, hey, I'm struggling a little bit with money right now, but I could help you organize this back room if you want. And I'm like, you go right ahead, and we assign a value for every hour. And that's their credit toward class. So I go in the back room and it's like, oh, the shelves are organized. And we don't do this now because of COVID. But I'm a big fan of, and I can do that with the type of business I have, but I'm a fan of also the barter system. You get to come take class and you do this thing that you don't hate doing, that I hate doing, and my back room gets organized. Awesome. I have a similar system with my mom. She cleans the studio for me in exchange for some things. So yeah, we work it out. We work it out so that I can focus where my talents are. And that's one of the big pieces of advice that I learned when I was running the jewelry business was, where in your business can really nobody else do what you do? That's
Mhm.
the thing you have to do. That's the one thing
Yeah.
you must do. All those other things, if you can find a way for someone else to do them for you, you probably should.
Yep.
I try to keep that in mind.
Yeah, I
And
agree with you.
usually, you know, the time it would take you to do that, it's worth paying somebody to do that in order to make up for it on your own time.
For sure. Or just to stay, not burn out.
Yeah. Well, thank you all for being here today. I really appreciate you guys kind of opening up and, having a conversation about owning a business and what goes into that. We do have a lot of programming coming for you throughout the week that is, focusing on our downtown Troy businesses. So if you want to check out more information about that, it's at downtowntroy.org. You can definitely find more information there, as well as information about our panelists today. I do also want to point out that the holiday season is upon us, and our small businesses need support, especially going into a winter season. So go ahead and shop downtown. There's also information about the holidays at downtowntroy.org as well. So please remember to support our businesses, support your community as much as possible. Huge thank you to all you guys for being here today, and looking forward to eventually seeing you guys in person again.
Thanks for organizing.
Have a great
Yeah.
rest of the week.
Thank you so much. Okay.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.